Episode number 863, Students and Networking in the Job Market.
You're listening to the official BNI podcast with BNI founder and Chief Visionary Officer, Dr. Ivan Misner. Stay tuned for networking and referral marketing tips from the man who's been called the father of modern networking, along with suggestions and insights into getting the most from your membership in the world's largest networking organization, BNI.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the official BNI podcast. I'm Priscilla Rice, and I'm coming to you from Live Oak Recording Studio in Berkeley, California, and I'm joined on the phone today by the founder and the Chief Visionary Officer of BNI, Dr. Ivan Misner. Hello, Ivan. How are you, and where are you?
Hey, I'm in California this week. I've got one of my kids that's got a little health issue, and so I'm traveling this week, but I'm happy to be doing the podcast.
Great, Ivan. And so what are you going to be talking to us about?
Yeah, well, this topic is a little different than most of the topics that I've done in the past, but it seems like every May, June, July, I'm asked by the media to talk about networking as it relates to students who have graduated from college. And I've never really done a podcast on that topic. And I know this doesn't really apply to all members, but a lot of members have children.
Right.
And who knows, maybe there are a number of members that are employees. We do have members that are employees and looking for work. And so I'm asked often by the media to talk about networking for jobs. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, hopefully the members will find it of some value. Actually, there are 2 or 3 things in here that apply to anyone, whether they're looking for a job or not. But the truth is that the data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics in the U.S. has found that the unemployment rate recently, as of this recording, has increased substantially, and it's larger than the unemployment rate as it sits for the average person. So this year, almost more than any, it's kind of a challenge for college students to get a job, but it's always a challenge. My experience is the media keeps asking me to do this every year because it's always an issue. Some issues are bigger than others. So anyway, I have 6 steps to networking for a new job. And let me share those. And as I share them, I'll talk about where it's also relevant as a BNI member. The first is certainly relevant as a BNI member. Number 1 is cultivate a confident mindset. Desperation is not preferable. So you got to approach networking with confidence rather than hopelessness. You'll be depending on your network to vouch for you and speak highly of you in hiring you. And so you want to come across as confident. That's certainly true as a BNI member. You have to have a confident mindset because people don't want to refer someone who's desperate, whether you're looking for a job or you're looking for referrals. The second, I think, also applies to BNI members. And, the more I look at this, the more I realize a lot of this really does apply to BNI members. Number 2 definitely does. Clean up your online presence. It's really important that you ensure your social media accounts project a professional image. Potential employers review online profiles to make sure that they reflect positively if they're going to hire you. So in BNI years ago, I told my HR department, do social media searches on the people before you hire them. Oh my goodness, Priscilla.
Yeah.
There were some that were shocking. One in particular was a guy who we were thinking about hiring. I mean, I didn't say check every person. I said check every person who we're really looking at closely. And there was one guy we were looking at closely, and every other post had the F-bomb thrown into it.
Wow.
And he was incredibly political in his positions, aggressively political. And in BNI, we really try hard to stay out of politics and religion. And he was aggressive about his stances, and he was angry. And he was posting stuff that was constantly angry. And the truth is, that's not the culture that I want to reinforce in my organization. And so we didn't hire him.
Right.
Well, I think the same applies certainly in BNI. You want to make your online presence be one that is open and comfortable for people. And you don't want to, I have always said, stay out of politics and religion on what you do publicly. And some people are really angry about that. And the irony, Priscilla, and I know I've talked to you about this, is I have a bachelor's degree in political science.
Uh-huh.
I worked for the government when I was a young man. I thought I might go into politics. I have no problem with politics.
Yeah.
I have no problem with religion. The thing is, it tends to be divisive if you want to generate referrals, and it's definitely divisive. Politics are divisive if you want to get them hired somewhere. So those first couple things apply to BNI members as well. The third, is something important, I think, within a BNI member, but really important if you're looking for a job, and that is to categorize your contacts. You want to take a look at all the contacts you have in your database and look at them and assess whether they are one of three categories: active, passive, or dormant. Active is where you could just pick up the phone and ask somebody for assistance. You have a relationship with them. Passive is something where, you probably need to set an appointment to reconnect with them or do a one-to-one with them because you haven't really stayed in touch. And dormant is where you're reconnecting with somebody that you haven't talked to in years. I mean, we all have that. I have people in high school and college that I haven't talked to in years, and they've become dormant relationships. Now, in looking for a job, and this is really different than looking for referrals in BNI, massive difference, is Gronebatter's article on the strength of weak ties. The strength of weak ties. In BNI, what you want are strong ties to get referrals. But when you're looking for a job, weak ties can actually be pretty good. Somebody that you barely know is more than willing to refer you to someone who's looking for a job because that person has to do their due diligence. So the concept of the strength of weak ties works outside BNI. Looking for employment doesn't work so well inside BNI.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 is to leverage existing relationships. So go back to those active, I said active, passive, dormant. Go back to those active relationships and really connect with those people and communicate with them that you're looking for a job, that you've just graduated. LinkedIn is actually really good for that. I've found LinkedIn to not be so good for referral marketing for a business, but it can be very good for referral marketing for a position or a job. I think the 5th item is also relevant in BNI, and that is to tap into diverse resources. You want to expand your network beyond your immediate circles and connections. Diversity in a network is powerful. You want to build a powerful personal network. It's got to be diverse because networks are by nature cluster-like. People tend to hang out with people like themselves. And so if you have contacts that connect you to other clusters of individuals, then your network is more powerful. So you want to tap into diverse resources when you're looking for work or when you're looking for referrals. That works really well for BNI. And the last one also works well for BNI, and that is to network in person, engage in face-to-face networking by visiting associations, if you're looking for work, associations in an industry that you're interested in. So you go to associations like that and you network with people that are in the business that you want to go into. And of course, with BNI, networking in person is really common. Still, the majority of our chapters meet in person or are hybrid, where they're meeting in person occasionally. So those are the 6 steps to looking for employment if you are. And I know this is a topic that's not terribly relevant in BNI, but some of the key points are relevant, and you might have people that you know that are looking for work and pass on this podcast to them. I'm about to give you a bonus point, number 7.
Okay.
And I do this when I do media interviews, and they love the bonus point. Here's the bonus point. When you're looking for work, particularly in a entry-level position, which again, my BNI members wouldn't be, but you might have children who are, suggest that you do a working interview. In other words, when you're talking to the HR person or the person who's doing the interview, if it's a job that you really want, say to them, hey, I'd be happy to do a working interview with you if you would like. And Most people don't know what that is. And so they'll probably say, what is that? And then you say, bring me in for a day or two to do some project or some work so I can show you what I'm capable of, and then consider hiring me.
Mm-hmm.
And you say to them, look, you can bring me in. I'll work for free. Now, most of the time they won't do that because there are legal issues. They got to pay you something. But that aside, it's amazing how often companies will go, well, that's a really creative idea. Okay. And, Priscilla, I have taught at university for many years, and I've been recommending this to students for many years. And I've had students come back to me and say, thank you for that suggestion. I got a job based on suggesting a working interview. Even one of my children, your children don't always follow your advice, but my eldest did. And when I suggested the working interview, and she did it with a company that she wanted to go to work for. And they said, well, we've got an event coming up this week. Would you be willing to come in and do photography for the event? Let's see how you do. She went in, she did the photography, she took photos. It was a great event. And they're like, you were really good. Yes, we'll hire you. And they hired her, and she worked there for years.
Oh,
and so
that's great.
Yeah, it's amazing. So the working interview concept is a great idea. And I'd love, if you're a BNI member, I'd love to hear if you think, some kind of working interview strategy would work as a BNI referral. I'd love to hear what you would think about that. Otherwise, a lot of this content is, I think really good for BNI members and their children. And I hope you use it in that way. That's everything I have for today, Priscilla.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ivan. This podcast is sponsored by MisnerAudioprograms.com. These audio programs will provide you with the tools and the inspiration to powerfully enhance your BNI experience. So check out the great material that's available to you at MisnerAudioprograms.com and use the promo code IVAN50 for 50% off of everything. All of the proceeds go to the BNI Foundation. Thank you so much for listening. This is Priscilla Rice, and we look forward to having you join us again next week for another exciting episode of the official BNI podcast.